Shut up and sit down.
I'm out there on the open bike path, feeling the wind in my eyebrow. I feel so free.
Follow me, so fast, so free. Bicycle, I wanna ride bicycle.
You are listening to the Dialed Podcast with Matt Lee Grand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von Turing. People who smile while they are alone used to be called insane, until we invented smartphones and social media. Smile and enjoy episode 115.
Bicycle.
Slow moving, inattentive, dull, constantly snacking.
Up ahead, the light turns red. Let's stop and look both ways.
I just want to lie on the beach and eat hot dogs. That's all I've ever wanted.
Let's go. I'll race you to the top of the hill. Pedal faster, we're almost there. We did it, we did it, we did it. Let's ring our bell.
So me think, why waste time? Say lot word when few word do trick.
Hi, and welcome back to the Dialed Podcast. I'm Jake Von Turing, and I'm here with Lance Hepler.
Lance, romance, here I am.
In studio.
In studio.
Mustache looking waxy as
Thank
ever.
you. It's quite
curly.
quite curly today. I tried to double curl it.
Yeah, nice work.
It's starting to settle in.
Yeah.
It's settling in nicely.
It's so bushy.
Is he getting trained yet? Do you wake up and it's still
Yeah.
maintaining some of the cue in there?
It's
curly?
it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. If what you're thinking is stupid, ridiculous, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And then some.
Exactly how bad you think this looks.
It is.
Times it by 5. That's roughly where it's at.
I think the hard part is that it's going to be hard to let go of it ever.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll be able to.
No.
You're going to feel so naked without it. It's going to be hard.
There's come a point where I really should have trimmed it already, but I want to see
Too far gone.
how ridiculous it can get now.
But how
much
are you
longer?
going? Because I feel like you're at the point where it's going to take skill to trim it now.
Oh yeah, it'll take skill.
And
oh,
you
yeah.
don't have
it's a
that
whole
skill.
new world. No,
Yeah.
You're going to have to see somebody
He'll
for
get
that,
you,
huh?
man.
You do. Yeah, you're going to need to YouTube how to trim a mustache
I wonder how
effectively.
many hours cumulative you've done work on this stash.
We're
Way
guess
too
spending
many.
30 to 40 minutes a
30.
week right now.
30
You probably
minutes a week.
You're biking 30 hours a week and working on your stash the rest of it.
Yeah,
Does that
maybe.
count as strength training in your schedule?
Yeah.
I think so as a cyclist. Mustache maintaining.
To his right, Evan Price.
Today, I'm going with the LaCroix kind of smattering. I know, double fisting LaCroix. Raz cranberry and passion fruit. To be honest, they both taste almost
the same.
Almost the same. I think they use the same drink. They just color the can differently.
Color the can.
They're
different.
delicious, though. I
Smart.
like them.
Smart marketing right there.
One from my fridge and one from Matt's fridge.
Yep.
Got the Kirkland thing going on over here.
I got a Kirtland from Jake here this morning.
Yeah.
And I've got a LaCroix on deck from Matt, who brought some in.
Trying to get rid of some of this old Kirkland stock.
Yeah. I found a case of it in my van, under the bench.
Gold, man.
I didn't even realize. I walked out there
like
because I
warm
was
water.
oh, there's a whole case of Kirtland under the bench in my van.
Nice.
That's a good find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys know who this guy is over here sitting across from Lance at the table? Do you guys
I think
recognize
we
him?
found him. We finally found him.
You cannot recognize me. I'm masked up.
Matt has the coolest mask here.
Masked up.
This is triathlon takeover mask style.
Yeah.
Back in the studio, Matt LeGrand.
I got a triathlon mask, so that helps. That my wife made. She made 20 masks. I don't remember when, like a week ago or something like that. We'll post a photo, perhaps.
With all of her
Hold on, wait.
non-existent free time.
I'm supposed to say, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, how are you guys doing?
There you go.
So out of practice, man. So
You're
out of
looking.
practice.
I know.
You guys are looking
You
fantastic.
can actually see us today.
I can see you, and you look good.
and Lance, not good. Not good.
Oh, that hooks nicely under your cans, man.
It does actually.
Yeah.
Hooks right to the
I feel like it's
cans.
gonna if you move quickly
love it.
one direction too much, it's gonna snap off and come and just hit me in the face. The mask became more dangerous than it was worth.
Man, it's good to have everybody back here. This is fun.
This is.
It's been a minute, man. It's been, about 6 or 7 weeks, maybe even longer.
I think it's been 2 months.
Since
About
we've
2 months?
actually all been able to be together, yes.
Yeah.
Craziness.
I mean, this all started,
was
beginning
right-
of March, right?
It was right when you guys opened this place because we did one podcast
March
with all
14th,
of us
yeah.
here.
Yep.
That was it.
I
Just
think it
one
was
of
March 14th was the open
just
date.
before
yeah.
St. Patty's Day, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
that sounds about right. Well, cool. Let's get into our back pedal. Matt, since it's been so long, kick us off. Start us off with your back pedal. And how's your week?
Busy. I'm swamped with work stuff, so there goes all fitness and opportunity to play in the sun. So.
How much are you allowed to talk about that?
0.
Oh, darn it.
Yeah.
Because I want to make jokes about it, but I'm not going to.
We won't.
Yeah.
Can't even talk about who it might be, huh? That's a bummer.
At least you have work to do.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm super pumped to have work to do, and my wife has work. And my kids just roam free naked in the streets. They go around to neighbors and ask for food and stuff. Will someone wipe me when I go to the bathroom?
Dash has had to learn how to cook.
Yeah.
Times are getting desperate for Dash.
Times are tough at our house. But yeah, so really busy with work. The weather has been super nice, so I did sneak out for, I think on Saturday I did 2 rides in one day because it was Saturday, and
as one does when it's 85 degrees outside.
It was sunny and nice, and I did a ride with my oldest kid, and that was awesome. And then I wanted to go out again, so I kind of was just, I don't know, it was one of those days where you're just kind of like, I want to go out again and do a real ride, and then I kind of stalled for a while, ate some food, hung, and then all of a sudden I was like, I got to go now. And I looked to see if I could do, hit you guys up to,
Catch
borrow
part
your
of the ride.
computers, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted to borrow your computers and film some stuff for this video that I want to do about bike computers and how visible they are in sunny conditions. And I looked to see where you guys were, and you guys were way out, doing some mega ride. I think North Battleground. I don't know where you were, but you were. And I was
Lost in the woods somewhere.
I was like, they're gonna be gone a long time. And I kind of just waited and kind of watched you guys linger around the entire Pacific Northwest.
We were looping. We were looping up there,
you were looping
30 miles north of town. Yeah.
And then I was like, I know.
Did you guys do the rack that day? What did
No.
you do? Oh, okay.
Something different.
I was like,
but
I
quite
know
beautiful, yeah.
eventually they're going to come straight back on the same kind of flat course that we always do, which is basically, I don't know, what is the kind of the bike corridor, I was like, because they're going to go back to Lance's house, and then they'll come back that way.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to start heading out that way.
It's
and
like Evergreen. You were
yeah,
saying out towards Evergreen.
Yeah, and so I was like, then I'll run into Jake, and that would be great. And then I'll grab his computer, and I'll film him, and we'll bike together on the way home. And so then I'm biking out that way, and I'm like, I look at where Jake was, and I was like, oh, he came back, of course, makes more sense this way. He came back kind of this way, back over here, and rode, a shorter route towards his house as opposed to coming all the way back to Lance's house. And I was like, oh, shoot.
He went the wrong way.
So then I was behind Jake, trying to chase him down, and I sent him a text. I'm like, wait for me.
Wait for me.
But because usually, I mean, if there's even I would say if there's even a quarter mile or something like that, and Jake's ahead of me, it's gone. It's over. I'm not catching
You're not gonna catch that.
Not catching him. So, but he waited for me, which was nice, and I rode with him for, I would say, almost a mile.
It was more than that because
We
I had
rode
a
up
mile
to
to
your
get before we when we got back to my house.
You had another mile to get.
Yeah, 3/4 of a mile that I had to get. So.
I count it, man. I counted as we got to ride together. So 'cause
Yeah,
I don't
for
have
sure.
much.
That's a full ride together, definitely.
I don't have much
Yeah.
going for me. So
Yep.
75 miles and about 3 of them were with Matt. It was awesome.
Whole ride with Matt. There you go. Ride with Jake. That's the title.
what was really awesome is yesterday I went for an open water swim.
Did
Hey.
you? Where'd you end up swimming?
I swam at Fallen Leaf Lake.
Fallen Leaf. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Went out there, had the place to ourselves, brought the family, and we chilled out. I got
Nice.
sunburned. It was great.
This is the great thing about Fallen Leaf now is they can't reserve it for anything, right?
They can't reserve it for
Well,
anything.
It's gated off,
It's
right?
gated off.
Yeah.
Which,
So you can't drive in there.
yeah. So you
Yeah.
have less people going over there. You kind of have to hike in or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is good. There, when we hung out there for a while, just as a family, pretty much had the whole place to ourselves, which is amazing. And people were coming and going. And then we actually had another 2 families come in and start hanging out, which was, it was fine.
Yeah.
But I ended up doing almost 3,000 meters of
Nice.
open water swimming.
How was the water temp?
It was crazy warm.
Oh,
I was kind of surprised. I put my Garmin in there to check the temperature, and it was 75. And I'm like, that's not right. And then eventually it kind of worked its way down to 70. I was like, man, this is nice.
Oh, wow.
Very nice
That's
conditions.
Yeah, I was gonna say with long sleeve wetsuit, you're
fine.
starting to get warm then towards
I
harder efforts.
I went long sleeve because it was kind of where the entrance onto the water was nice and warm, and then as you get out there were spots that were a little colder. I didn't wear a cap, which was only because I just didn't remember to bring one.
And Fallen Leaf is not too deep, correct?
No.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of, especially with the warm weather we've had,
It's pretty reasonable.
It's going to heat up pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, you should go jump in there today because, we're going to have rainy conditions, I think, for a while. Yeah. I'm not sure. But
we've been doing showers.
Vancouver Lake's been pretty good temperature-wise, actually. Yeah. So, yeah.
I was testing.
But I'm glad Fallen Leaf's good now.
I wanted to one of the reasons I wanted to swim was I wanted to test this Polar Ignite watch. And I'll do a video for it probably in 2 weeks or so. And it said I did 41 meters of swimming.
There you go.
Instead of 4,000, instead of 3,000.
So I
Sounds
was like,
about right for Polar.
This is
maybe not.
It's gonna be a fun review.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be looking for nice things to say about it, but the majority is gonna be like, no, hard pass.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Ouch.
They're probably not gonna sponsor this podcast. Polar.
We've just lost our potential sponsor.
Well, we already lost our key sponsor in Kirkland, so
What was better, that watch or the Casio?
Casio, man. The Casio, if you watch there's a video that I posted with the Casio watch comparing it to all other triathlon watch. It wins hands down every time.
Where it dies immediately when you get in the water because it's not waterproof.
Can the Polar watch balance your checkbook? I didn't think so.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Casio calculator watch for the win. Yeah, actually, that whole thing was made up because the watch never actually worked. It's been dead. Someone gave us 3 of those watches, but I haven't found a way to change the battery.
Is that still a company, by the way?
Yeah, Casio. Yeah. In fact, they have a triathlon watch that they just came out with.
Are you serious?
Maybe 2 weeks ago, they had this big watch announcement. I think they do make a decent watch at this point.
Can you reach out to them and please do a review on that? Because I want to see.
Send me your video.
I think after that video, they hate me. So.
They won hands down. How can they hate you?
Yeah. You gave them more marketing than that watch has ever had in its 40 years of existence.
They're mocking. The mocking thing. They don't appreciate the mocking.
DC Rainmaker even liked that video, man.
I know. Yeah.
He did.
They're like, we know what you're trying to do here, Mr. LeGrand.
Yeah. Evan, backpedal for us.
Kind of more. So we just had a big heat wave blow through the Pacific Northwest here, and I've been talking to my Ohio friends. They're still in the low 40s.
Oh.
And rainy, cold. So I've been very thankful to be dehydrated all weekend. It is
supposedly they're going to have another cold snap. They were talking about snow in the forecast, and they were like, "This is snow in May is going to be crazy." But this is anyway.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout, Ohio.
Oh boy, sorry, Ohio. But anyway, in the Pacific Northwest, absolutely beautiful. And yeah, we did. So me and Lance were talking about the route we did Saturday. Well, okay, I'll talk Friday first. We Mike Guyvan, myself, and Jesse Tonkinson had plans to go and KOM hunt for our Fridays because that's what we do these days. And this is literally all that me, Mike, and Jesse live for now is pretend racing. So, but all day, I am watching out the clinic window as the trees out there are basically bending sideways all day. It was windy Friday.
It was a windy day.
Not ideal for KOM chasing unless you were going with the wind. So
not for climbing KOMs. No.
So of course we decided to choose Livingston Climb, which I had to do some directional math. We ended up basically into a block headwind during the one flat section of that KOM attempt. Nonetheless, Tonk did not need the wind at his back. He took the KOM by 20 seconds over Dwayne Farr, who has become our arch nemesis on KOM lists. I don't even think Dwayne lives in this area anymore, does he?
He does not, and he hasn't ridden for several years.
So we're basically chasing a ghost.
He's not on Strava for the last several years.
Yeah, and that's what I saw too. Former pro, very fast times he had put up. So he put some high bars up there, which is awesome for us. But Tonk went out there and took Livingston. I was 1 second off Dwayne. Fitting. I did not have good legs that day. I did not feel awesome Friday. And getting to ride with Tonk and Mike, if you do not have good legs that day, you're definitely going to get dropped by some time on the climbs. But it was still a blast. It was a beautiful day. The wind kind of swirled a bit, and we originally thought we were going to get a tailwind going up Lake Road. We did not get a tailwind going up Lake Road.
That's the one I was thinking, because it looked like the wind was blowing that direction, and I was like, gosh, you guys got to come over here.
It was
otherwise I'm going to go take the game.
We were coming back during that time period, and I think it started to swirl, and it did not end up being a tailwind.
It was like a crosswind up Lake, so it wasn't really a good tailwind. So
I slipped Mother Nature $20.
I know Jake planned that just perfectly. We should have gone for it first, but So yeah, it was still a great day. Guy Van did crash, and I got to see how tough that guy is because he crashed on a descent going down Livingston, and really scraped himself up. But got up, dusted himself off, checked everything. His bike is titanium, so of course the bike looked like he just cleaned it. Like it's
he rides a Moots titanium bike.
Yeah, just an
Beautiful bike.
awesome, absolutely awesome bike. He could chuck that thing off a mountain and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Like the bike was perfectly fine. He was a little beat up, but he still got out and rode the next day, so he's doing good. And
Did he head down and do that Sisters ride after all?
No, he went and did the Japanese Hollow 50-mile gravel loop out of the Dalles.
still
Okay,
beautiful.
cool.
Yeah.
Why
Still
did he
beautiful
crash?
ride.
Did he just take a turn? Slip on a turn or something?
So he
Coming in hot.
He like overcorrected after sliding a bit. Tonk thought he was going to save it, but he ended up not saving it and just went down. He saved it enough though that he didn't. Livingston's got a pretty big drop off at one of those chicane-esque turns going down.
Steep section.
Yeah, steep section. So like you could, if you go off the side of the road, that's bad, like real bad. So he saved it to not have that happen. Thank God. But yep. Saturday I rode with David and Dustin. We went out to Silver. So we went into like the saddle point on Silver Star. Me and Lance were talking about kind of this area of gravel road out there has there's a lot.
There's a bunch of Forest Service roads, gravel roads that are just
Oh, and it's so awesome.
beautiful.
Just awesome. So we rode out there.
But the forest had been closed for the last month
Yeah,
and a half. But
the forest was
is
open
now
for
open.
service. The
Yes.
forest was open
Open
for
for
service.
business,
I
yeah.
checked with the manager. The forest was open, but yeah,
Ranger Dave.
Ranger
I-
Dan.
yeah,
Dan.
yeah, we had, and cars were super nice out there. Outside of like every time a car drives by, you get really a lot of dust. And I'm wearing glasses, so luckily they kind of protected my eyes, but the glasses kind of fog up a little bit. But yeah, it's a beautiful ride on the backside of Larch Mountain. Past the penitentiary up there,
Gotcha.
which doesn't, like if I described the route to somebody, you'd be like, that sounds like a terrible place to ride, but it's beautiful.
There's tons of trails and stuff all like everywhere back there.
Oh yeah,
It's
we're planning on doing a lot of adventuring back there. It is awesome.
okay.
But yeah, so that was Saturday, and then Sunday just rode Zwift and beat up my legs with whatever was left.
How long did you go on Zwift?
Like 3 or 4 hours of just a bunch of racing and workouts.
Okay.
Just like kind of, I
Wow.
call it like just kitchen
medley.
sink stuff. Yeah.
How is
Yeah.
the running stuff going? Are you taking some time off still?
So I took 2 weeks of no running, which is the saddest I've been in a long time, which is fine because now I'm back to running, and I am basically, I've structured my own rehab so that I'm not overreaching at any point. I'm having some friends of mine help me come back too. So this last week I did 3 runs. Most of my runs are structured like 5 by 2 minutes, 5 by 3 minutes. This run I just did today was 3 by 10 minutes, and I'm going
On
by
the treadmill.
Yeah. I'm keeping everything on the
You
treadmill
just
right
walk during your.
now. Walk 1 minute between each set. Hip feels absolutely fine, and I want to knock on wood as I say that, but staying consistent with my mobility and strengthening and plyometric work. And it's nice that as I'm staying patient with this and actually taking my own rehab seriously, it's coming back feeling great. Like I was running 5:40 pace today and felt really comfortable. It felt like I wasn't straining.
Glad you're
It
starting
wasn't-
back nice and slow and easy.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
I'm definitely. I got plenty of time to slowly build. Slowly build. We're not
Nice.
racing
Good.
anytime soon.
Glad to hear that you're feeling better.
Yeah.
And that was the week. Yeah.
Cool. Lance, back pedal.
Well, I put in 18 hours this last week. Almost
beat me this week.
Almost
I
a little
raced
over.
17 times this week.
What's funny, I rode every single day. I rode 7 days this week.
It was nice.
3 of those days with my wife, 2 of those days on my own, and 2 days with Jake. So we just had a wonderfully fantastic week. It
was good weather every day.
We had really good weather. It was kind of funny because when Friday rolled around, it was like 85 degrees here, and we had like a 15 to 20 mile an hour consistent east wind, and I was salivating all day. I just wanted to go out and like chase flat east direction segments, which is, I know, ridiculous and
Well, not for nothing, but if you're
What
going to
do
go
we do?
chase segments, all of those segments, the KOMs are on the days where there's wind.
there's
So
wind.
you need to have that wind assistance in order to go out there and be able to keep
Yeah.
pace.
So yeah, I talked Jake into going out with me, and it was. I hate to say this, it was one of the funnest rides I have had in the last several years, because it was just me and Jake, and all we did was search out segments and took turns leading each other out.
That's awesome.
So, and we took, I think between the two of us, we took like 12 different segments, I think.
Got a question for you.
Yeah.
Are we Bush League? Is that
Yeah.
so Bush
Are
League?
we
Yeah.
Bush
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we're
It's
not only
it's
are we
a
like
little
leading
lame.
each other out like with big watts, we've got this big tailwind.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, just like we're marking
How
every single.
many-
That's the whole ride was built around. We didn't even have like this preconceived notions as to which ones. We just had an idea, and we know all of the segments locally.
Yeah.
And we know which ones go from east to west. We just went and
How
typed
many
all
of those are not going to get touched unless it has another massive
well,
The
tailwind?
wind. I mean, it's all about the
Well,
wind.
not
so-
only,
Yeah.
it wasn't just the fact that we had it was warm and there was a great wind. It was Jake and I leading each other out with the wind.
Yeah.
So we'd push 500 watts.
Yeah.
It'd be like a minute long segment or like a 2 minute long
It's not
segment.
getting touched. Yeah, those
So
aren't
so one of us would lead the other one out, and we just took turns leading each other out. One of us would lead the other one out for like a full minute, and then the other one would just
launch. Yeah.
just launch. And we
That's fun.
it was complete Bush League.
Yeah.
Because we took, I mean, yes, it was our own bikes, and yes, under our own power, but we had
It checks all the boxes within the rules.
we
Yeah,
had
it
lead
is.
outs and
I
we
think.
had wind.
I also feel like if you have your TT bike and your TT helmet, it just feels wrong, doesn't it?
Right, a little like okay.
You know, speed suit on.
On that note, Matt, I'm gonna that Vancouver Lake time trial you went and got. I'm absolutely going TT bike to get that from you.
I don't think it'll be that hard for you to get.
You don't think so?
I mean, if you
That was
pick
a pretty good effort.
You
that
need a
day,
calm
though.
day because it's out and back.
Yeah, I'm just
But
gonna just go in the
calm
morning.
day, and if you TT up, you should be fine.
Yeah.
because
Skin
I
suit,
probably put out
Arrow helmet. Yeah.
What was I don't know how long this segment is. I put out 300 watts or something for.
Oh, okay.
What is it? Is it 15
Four-
minutes?
14. No, it's
It's 37 minutes or
yeah,
something.
it's
like
like 14 miles.
Well,
16
then
miles.
I did not
Yeah.
put out that much.
Is it
watt.
from the light
It's from the light
all the
to-
way to the Frenchman's
light
Bar
to the light,
turnaround,
yeah.
Yes.
past Frenchman's Bar where the road
And
dead ends,
back.
and then back?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, man, when I get that email, I'm gonna print it out. I'm gonna frame it.
I have a car run me off the road that day.
Will somebody take that in the next week?
Not in the next week, but soon.
Oh, come on.
I'm going for it soon. I got to build up the TT bike. I'll bring in the TT bike and we'll build it up
You've been saying that you're going to build up that TT bike again
for like 2 months. I know.
more
Okay.
like 6 months. You
More
haven't
like
ridden
6
since your
months.
last race, haven't you?
No, it's been a sore subject. So I need to.
So other thing is we need to do
I'm bringing
some
it in.
aerodynamic testing
We do.
with the TT bike because
We should just go out there.
Well, I've got that toy to play with. So
If you just want to, we can just plan that day. I'll just go for the KOM and we can just play with the toy while I'm doing it.
yep, we can do it.
That'd be fun.
All right, back to you, Lance.
Oh, that was like the highlight of the week. Even though I had a couple just fantastic rides with my wife, where she just like sat on my wheel and had a great time, and then Jake and I did this other long ride on Saturday where we just went up North County and to these beautiful, gorgeous roads, and it was
Bunch of stuff I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
Go around corners and I'm like, holy crap, this is beautiful out
That's
here.
why you mentioned the rack route.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so much more better
Yeah.
stuff out there.
Really?
You just have to know where to look. And the only reason I'm finding this stuff is because Joe Hamilton, who
the Mari's Ride
yeah,
group.
the Mari's
Yeah,
Ride
where
group.
I've-
So he sends out an email every week saying, "Okay,
this.
we're not doing a group ride, but this is the ride that I have. This is the route that I have put out for you guys. So go do it."
Give a little bit of history on Joe. He's
So-
been around the block. He's been here for a while.
Yeah, Joe Hamilton is in his 60s. He lives here in Vancouver. He has been racing cyclocross and mountain bike stuff for decades.
Yep.
And so about 20 years ago, I really don't know how long it is, he started putting up this Saturday ride called the Mari Group. And he called it the Mari Group because there was a bakery called Mari's Bakery, which has been out of business for like 15 years. But
It's still called the Mario.
it's still called the Mari
It
Group.
lives on.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So it used to meet at the bakery and then ride.
I
from
just always
there.
assumed the guy who started its name was Mari.
No, it was named after a bakery that is no longer in.
Did it used to be there by New Seasons? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it used to be there by New Seasons. And so he has an email list, and he had it. It's mostly Masters guys, but I got invited through I don't know how I got invited. I ended up, getting invited, and I got on the email list, and he literally sends out a route every week. And
we accidentally got on that ride last year. Remember when you flatted and then they
right.
called us? Yeah,
and because they were headed the same direction.
Yep.
Yeah. So he puts out this route. It's different every single week. It could be up in North County. It could go into the Portland area, but there's so many great North County roads. So he sends out this list. It's always a ride with GPS link route, which if you have a Garmin are super easy to load into your Garmin. You just have to pin it. Actually, Ride with GPS is a subscription service, and I don't know if you can pin it if you don't have the subscription. I pay for the premium subscription.
I still don't know how to do that, but I want to learn how.
It's
because I want to just be able to download routes.
I want to say you don't, because I've used it before, because I did the Bike MS ride this past year, and they made some course changes, and they put it out on Ride with GPS, and I used that, and I didn't have to pay for it.
So all you do is you pull up the route with Ride with GPS. If you have an account with them, you might not have to pay for the account. You pin it, and then when you open up your Garmin on the IQ, you can go right to Ride with GPS pinned routes.
Yep.
And load it immediately. Nice. So it's
really easy to use. Yeah,
it's really easy to use, and he's always taking you up some weird way or direction or off main roads.
The route that we went on, it made sense because there are main roads that you can ride on, but you don't want to ride on those roads. Right. And he would take you on these little alternate routes that were beautiful, and you're missing all the traffic. There's hardly any cars, so it was really nice.
Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Honestly, there's some stuff back there, even though there's some just straight up dead ends. It's still amazingly gorgeous. It's worth riding to the end of some dead end road because it's just these huge just rolling hills that you can see for miles, and you're just wow, this is a photo that I need to take.
I like northern Clark County just as much as any ride I've done in Portland. I mean, Portland's beautiful, right? Don't get me wrong, but I've gone on northern Clark County rides where I was like, this is amazing. Yeah, especially when you can see Mount St. Helens and stuff like that.
Yeah. Which you run into all the time up there.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I had a great week on the bike. It was good. It's going to rain this week. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Zwift.
I have not Zwifted for more than 2 weeks.
Wow.
2.5 weeks. I have not been on Zwift.
You're missing out. It's a blast.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not at all. It's awful.
I had to Zwift twice this past week because I had to give my shoulder a break. I did get in a nice little training ride with Sean Martin on Tuesday, the day after his birthday, the day before his anniversary, and that was that new kit day ride. So yeah, it was nice. And then a couple days on Zwift to give the shoulder a day off, or a couple days off, and then went out and played bikes with Lance on Friday and Saturday. I was pretty tired after that whole thing of chasing KOMs. I think I count it was, how many efforts did we put in there?
It was probably at least 15.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Full gas.
Yeah.
60-second to 2-minute efforts.
Yeah. And we did that a lot of times, that stacked up, and at the end of the day I got home, I'm like, I'm tired. And I sat down on the couch with my wife at night to watch a TV show or something like that, and I fell asleep. So that
just
passed out. I was done. And then we did that ride on Saturday, and I think both of you and I were feeling the love on that one.
Yeah, we were out there for 4 hours, and we're just kind of trying to take it easy, and realized how much we had beat each other. Plus, it was hot. It was like a 6-bottle ride for both of us.
I threw down 7.
Yeah,
so,
6-bottle ride. So.
Yeah. It was still fun, though, chasing a few stop signs or the stop ahead signs.
Yeah, we still kept beating each other up. There was one downhill flat segment that we just goosed it on. Same thing. It was like a 2-minute effort. And I think Jake averaged 35.7 miles an hour on it.
I don't know how you rode with them so much back in the day, Matt, as a triathlete. I won that ride, what was that, last Wednesday or whatever? I hadn't ridden that style since I rode with my French friend in Ohio, because that's how all the French guys ride, is just dead sprint to stop, dead sprint to stop. Well, it was my legs are toast by the end of it. There's nothing but sprinting or not moving.
We were just cruising around, and then for whatever stupid reason, Jake and I started chasing stop ahead signs. So we started
old habits die hard,
sprinting for stop ahead signs.
I found out that I can't drop Jake on a flat section sprinting if my life depends on it. So,
we did call a truce on that, though.
We did, because we were starting to cramp. Or I was.
There you go. It got up to 88 degrees at least Saturday.
Yeah, it was nice.
I know when Dustin was checking his Garmin, when we were out on top of Larch where it's so dry, it was close to 90.
Wow.
It was
Here,
getting there.
let me bring the Bush League numbers to full circle.
32 miles an hour at 80
Let's
watts.
just see how many KOMs I got this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 KOMs this week.
All right.
That's full Bush League. Now I'm
Boo.
reporting how many KOMs I got
Boo.
this week.
That's awesome.
Oh.
Oh, all right. That's
Sorry,
good.
Jake. I interrupted your.
No, it's all good. That's it. I'm sure people are tired of listening to us ramble on and talk about KOMs that we chase down with bleed outs and wind. Bush League.
You may be
jackals.
tired of it, but there is no other racing going on, so this is what we have to
No
talk
racing.
about.
It was so fun.
I feel like this is the YouTube content that we've been watching too, right? Where it's like people
Yeah.
chasing KOMs. It's like
It
wow.
is, and I have
See
to
if you can get
genuinely.
Mount Lemon again. I
know.
guess.
I have to genuinely say, it's like it's interesting.
is.
I mean, right now,
Better-
like
it's
I'll
better than
watch it.
nothing.
It's
Well,
better than Zwift racing.
Yeah, you got me and Lance doing what we did, and then there's Jesse taking Livingston into a headwind by himself. You know, it's like, come on, man.
They took another one yesterday up Berry.
Oh, I
Hill.
forgot about Bear. Yeah, that one's impressive because just on a numbers nerd base here, for 10 minutes he put out 360
Yep,
watts.
360 watts for 10 minutes.
For reference, Tonk is not a big man.
Yeah,
he's a very small man.
When he's completely drenched and wearing a coat, wet,
Yeah.
he's like 85 pounds.
Yeah.
yeah, and that effort was scary to anybody. Yeah,
So
Crazy.
jeez.
yeah.
Hey, is Champ Bailey here?
Champ Bailey
Hey, Champ.
in the house.
What you got?
I got a couple of three things very quickly. In cycling news this last week, we did hear from Egan Bernal, the Team Sky, Team Ineos rider who won the Tour de France last year.
Yep.
He also was teammates with Chris Froome and Geraint Thomas.
Yep.
The
All
three of them are
former
all
winners.
former winners.
Jeez.
And Froome wants to come back and take a stab at winning again. And Bernal is the young guy who won last year. And he kind of said in some interview that, hey, look, if I am feeling good, I'm not going to work for you. You guys are going to have to work for me. He kind of said he's not willing to sacrifice himself for those two.
They'll do the dual leader thing. All right. Do you want my? First
Go,
of all,
yeah.
First of all, this is really early for predictions. First of all, tour's not going to happen.
Probably
Agreed.
not.
Agreed.
And secondly,
Let's
I
pretend.
actually think that having an extra year for Froome to get healthier is probably good for him. Although he's getting a little bit older, but I still think another year for him to recover from that really bad accident. He was on a TT bike and he went down really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's going to help him. It's going to serve him well. I think they're going to eventually, if they ever race again, they'll do we have two leaders. We're dual leaders. And
Well,
then
there really could be three. If
There could easily be
Thomas
three.
Is,
if they decide to bring all three to the tour,
But here's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's true. They definitely could pick a different race for different athletes. But
That's what they're probably hoping.
Garrett's going to want to work for Froome.
Yep.
Yep.
And I don't think Bernal needs their help that much. I think he's that good. I think he's
Yep.
fine.
Yeah.
I think he's he's clearly going to be the more talented, especially when it gets into the mountains and things like that. I think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but
This will be
I feel
back
it's
like
safe.
when Astana in 2009 had Lance Contador.
Yeah.
And they had another. Oh God, it was the German rider. I cannot
But it was
remember
like
his name.
Contador was clearly the most talented.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
And it was
and-
like, but
and
Lance
Lance-
is the name and blah
Yes,
blah blah.
and Lance will even admit back to that days. I mean, Lance, what was like? He was top 5. I know that year. I
Yeah.
want to say he
He
may
was
have been
third.
third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was on the
He was
podium.
on the
He
podium.
was
So I mean,
third.
top 5 guy in that race.
Yep.
You're still looking at. There's gonna come a moment where let's say that whether it's on. Ventoux, Alpe d'Huez, whatever climb that they're going to end up having, because I agree with you, I don't think it's going to happen in 2020. But whatever climb they're going to be on, there's going to be a group of 6-7 guys,
Right.
and Bernal's going to go. I don't think Froome or Grant are going to be able to follow him.
They're gonna,
So,
They're gonna have to figure out if they want to do their steady look at the Watson chase. They're at their own pace kind of thing, or what they want to do.
It's going to depend
Otherwise,
if it's a
that's just
heavy
gonna pull
TT.
everyone.
If it's a heavy TT tour, that's where Froome and Thomas are going to be. Because this is where you get into the semantics. Is let's say that there's
Bernal's not bad.
well,
He's not
yeah,
bad.
but
He's not Froome, but he's not bad.
Thomas is a pretty scary
Yeah.
good time trials too. So let's say that one of them gets a minute and is wearing the yellow. Bernal, I mean, could you imagine if
He
on
attacked.
stage 20 you attack your team leader in the yellow by a
No,
minute?
I don't
Right.
think that would ever happen. I like to think
That'd be
that would
awesome to
happen.
think it. Oh god, that'd be great if it happened.
But
could you imagine
but
that?
then also, same goes the other way around. If there's a climb, you don't want Froome and Garrett like you don't want those guys pacing a team of people back up to
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
and so,
Or them attacking each other. Like Brailsford will be on the other side of that microphone screaming his head off at him if
I don't know.
they're attacking each other.
ultimately they're going to have to move to different teams, which could happen in the
How much
timeframe.
time does Froome have left on his contract? Because I know Bernal just signed a 3-year contract, right?
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Froome's next year is his last year, I think. I could be completely off on that, but yeah.
Whatever those guys end up saying, it's not going to be them who are going to call the shots.
Yeah.
And if they
Sky in its history's always had these kind of. I mean, you think people might forget this. Richie Porte was also on that team at one point.
that's right.
Chris Froome
And Bradley
attacked
Wiggins.
Bradley Wiggins
Yeah.
one year. I mean, the Sky has been through this every year. It's a great problem to have as a team.
well, he attacked and he got barked at, and then he sat up and let
yeah,
him
he
get
did.
back
He
on his
said,
wheel. But yeah.
Too crazy.
He said he just forgot he wasn't there.
I could see Froome. I don't know. Could you see Froome leaving?
Yes.
He's been part of that team.
Yeah,
they
but
love him.
he's been there for a long. He is the spirit of that team. He's been there a long time. I think Bernal would leave before Froome does.
I think so.
I think
I
so.
agree with 3-year
Yeah.
contract, though. I mean, he's,
Yeah, but I think that they'll have a year of combating over those, and then once the 3 years is up, because one of those years is going to be this year, they'll have 1 year of combating, and that last year, Bernal will be talking to other teams. Froome may decide to not go after the Tour and do a Giro Vuelta double like he's wanted to do in the past. So
I don't know. The
Giro's
timing,
beat him up.
Okay, so 3 more years, and they're getting paid this year, and this is going to be one of the contract years. So that, let's say, just doesn't happen this year.
Yeah.
How many more years does he have inside of him? I mean, we'll say that 2 more years of Bernal being there, and Froome's got 1 more year. Are they going to sign Froome beyond Bernal and then let Bernal go, knowing that Bernal's going to be the better talent once Froome is getting a little bit old?
That's not the smart decision.
I think
No, it's
I
not.
think Bernal would leave instead of Ineos being like, let's let go of him.
Yeah, it's about winning bicycle races. It's not about playing favorites.
Well-
and Bernal's got the more upside for the longer period of time looking forward.
Another
Froome's 34 too.
Yeah, that's getting up
He's not
there.
young.
Another oddity to throw into this mix is how many of these bike teams are going to be around if the Tour doesn't happen.
Amen.
How many of these things are just going to shut down? Like,
there's
some won't make it.
Stuff is folding.
yeah. Well, I
on
mean,
that
it's like
front.
why are we sponsoring this? I mean, it's a lot of money.
Yes.
This is where I think a lot of these cycling quote unquote heroes, I'm putting heroes in quote here, from the 90s and early 2000s need to start really getting back into supporting the sport. The sport has got to shed this sacrificing of people who came from the doping era and saying we're going to disconnect ourselves
I agree with
entirely
that.
from that. Because here's the thing is, marketing for cycling was great when Lance Armstrong was there, when Marco Panattoni was still alive, when Jan Ulrich was the Kaiser of Germany. Like,
money there.
are they bad people for what they did? Some of them, yeah. I mean, they absolutely need to be,
Sure.
like
Held
reprimanded
accountable
for,
for
that.
what they did, for sure. But
when
at
you're
the
talking
same
about a
time,
dying sport, it
I
needs to
mean,
be saved.
People understandably get worked up when Lance is interviewed by NBC. You know, they're
Right,
like, "Hey,
right.
let's interview." I mean, but at the same time, it's like, "Hey, aren't you going to watch it?
Are you tuning in?
Aren't you going to watch it?" Like,
Yep.
our sport is in need of all the help it can get, which
Yeah.
I think is your point, right?
Yeah.
It's like we should take any help we can
Sports
get.
is riddled with, and I won't use recent examples because I know these are sensitive issues, but there are athletes who have done very questionable or been accused of very questionable things in their past and then recovered in the public image because we're a forgiving society. And that's good. I mean, I think to some extent you need to forgive and, and move on.
If you take the right steps, it almost always happens that
Yeah.
way. If you
Lance has always been a charitable person. I mean, I'm a big Lance fan. I'm sure I'll get,
Yeah, you good.
people hate even the name these days. They look at you like you're talking about like
It's-
Satan himself.
The
but,
name
yeah.
itself is just associated with
Cheating.
doping.
Yeah.
Cheating. Yes. Like it's like it's another word for cheating.
Yeah.
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 And like some of the strongest opinions are from people who never tuned into cycling prior. So it's like, why do you care that much? But yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Anyway.
Speaking of things folding, Lance, what's the next story you got on your list?
The other thing is the cycling company Mavic has been placed into receivership.
Whoa.
Yeah, so Mavic
Wow. It's
was
French company. I
It's
think.
a French cycling company, one of the major contributors to the Tour de France.
Right.
They always sponsored the
They're the wheel car.
Yeah, the neutral cars,
support.
neutral cars, neutral motorcycles, neutral wheels.
that.
Those bright yellow cars, bright yellow motorcycles, all sponsored by Mavic.
They were the ones that were late to getting Froome his bike when he was running up
Right,
the mountain.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Good job, Mavic.
So they've been placed in receivership, which means they are in trouble,
Right.
but not going away entirely. the French courts, the insiders hope that a buyer will come forward to bail out the struggling business.
Their name, someone would pick them up.
They might.
I mean, honestly, you could liquefy the company, basically take the name, and that would be where the value is, and you could put the name on some Chinese wheels, and
I want to
there you
say
go.
they make wheels and shoes and some
But the wheels,
apparel, but I
They
think
make
it's
some
wheels.
knickknacks, don't they?
What?
I mean, like they make some smaller products too, don't they?
I think it's mostly wheels and shoes.
Yeah, I
Is
think
it?
you're
Okay.
right.
But I think if you're buying that company, you're buying it for the name, and you're buying it for
Yep.
the wheel
history.
brand name.
Yeah.
You put the Mavic on there. Come up. I continue to
People
use
trust the name. Yeah.
What do they call it? Their criterium,
Cricerium or
something.
Cricerium, Mavic
yeah,
Cricerium
something like
wheels.
that. And then
It makes some decent wheels.
yeah,
Yeah.
make decent wheels. But at the same time, I think just there's so many companies making wheels right now.
So
Not
There are
all
a
of them
lot.
are good. It's just
some trouble brewing. We might not see yellow cars in the Tour de France.
No.
we
That'd be
might
a
not
shame.
see the Tour de France.
We might
We
not
might
be
not
seeing
see
the Tour de France.
The Tour de France.
Stay tuned.
Champ Bailey out.
All right, topic for the day. Have you guys been having a rough go of it lately? A lot of negative stuff.
A lot of negativity.
A lot of negativity over these past 2
I'm
months.
having a blast. How about you, Lance?
My life is
Negative.
This is.
Everything is awesome.
I am enjoying this time period.
Nah, seriously though, I mean, if you just think about like the tone in general right now, everything seems to be pretty negative. But I still think that there's some good stuff out there, and that's what the topic's going to be today. This whole COVID thing is throwing a bunch of lemons at us. So I'm gonna see if we can make some cycling and triathlon lemonade out of that. So we're gonna do our top 10-ish list of things.
You even have lemon flavored. You even have lemon
I've got
flavored Kirkland.
I've got lemons flavored Kirkland water. I'm out. I
This
actually
segment
could
brought to you by
use-
lemon flavored Kirkland.
we're gonna make lemon flavored Kirkland out of lemons.
So some positives
it's
that have
not
come
lemon
out of
flavored.
this whole COVID epidemic stuff specific to cycling and triathlon. Just kind of curious to hear what you guys have to say. We're going to put together a top 10-ish list. We never know what we're going to come up with. We say 10 and
Top
sometimes
19,
it's
yeah.
23 times things. Let's start with Matt. What you got? What's something positive that you've taken away from this whole COVID epidemic?
All right. Let me start with something that I've mentioned before. When we first started talking about the virus, emptier roads. In fact, I've noticed in particular, like certain times of day that I would not go ride, like potentially, kind of that 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon time frame. I wouldn't go ride at that time, and it's not that bad now. It's pretty reasonable. I have noticed that the traffic's picked up a little bit more in the past couple weeks, but there has been significantly less traffic. And I'm gonna knock on wood as I say this, but I haven't been yelled at or had anything thrown at me in a couple weeks.
People have been decently nice on the roads. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that for me, that's like probably one of the biggest things, because road safety is obviously, I mean, we go on and on about that, but that's one of my biggest things for sure. And I felt okay. I felt safe on the roads.
Yeah, I've had a couple of people yell at me, but it hasn't been like too egregious. It's just
Right.
like you effing cyclists,
Yeah,
you're gonna,
yeah.
and then they just keep going. But at least they're not using their cars like a battering ram against us
Yeah.
or trying to put us in a ditch.
I don't mind being called the F word every once in a while, as long as it's like, just don't run me off the road. You
Hey,
can call
love
me
you
whatever
too, pal.
like. Yeah. Yeah. You can.
I wholeheartedly agree with that, and I think one of the things I've kind of enjoyed too is with schools all being shut down, we don't have to deal with that 3 o'clock madness of the high schools, because we live near 2 different high schools that get let out at about the same time, and you don't want to be on the roads around them.
We used to like avoid it, where it would be, hey, okay, we can go this way, but we kind of have to go. You just know this whole road is gonna be shut down.
Yeah, we got a hammer. They're going to be out of school in 15 minutes.
Yep.
Go, go, go. Yeah.
Got to use the bus for a draft. Find the bus.
All right, Evan, what do you got?
So this one indirectly has been kind of nice. So I think that we all know, especially during this time period, and none of us are young here, as we were talking about this thing called TikTok recently, which I think just us talking about that showed that we're not young anymore.
Are you on the
Like, not even
TikTok,
close.
Evan?
No, I'm not.
Are you a
yet.
TikToker?
I'm not a
Somehow
TikToker.
you're the oldest of all of us.
I think so. I still am not entirely sure if I grasp what TikTok is.
No.
But it's been nice because this time period has kind of forced me to I never like using the term like washing social media, because I never really like cleaned my social media or like tried to take stuff out before.
Okay.
Mostly because I didn't know how, or I just didn't want
would
to put the
never
effort
put-
into it.
never put
I
that
just
kind of
never
time
would
into it.
think about it.
Right.
But I've been spending more and more time on social media just because now,
Sure.
running my own clinic, I have to be on social media and communicating with people. And that's how some people communicate with me. But it's been nice to now look at it and kind of take it as a more positive approach. And the really negative stuff that's coming across my social media, whether it's people driven or just, outlet driven, I'm just cleaning that now. So it's my social media has become very physical therapy, cycling, triathlon, and running based. That's basically all I see on my social media, which is great because it makes me happy.
Yeah.
I open up my social media and all I see is bikes and people running. And it's like, that's good. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't have to see some algorithm graph or something like that. Like I think a lot of people are getting exposed to. So I would, tell everybody, like, look at that. And as we're getting this bombardment of information over the last couple months, take it as the time period to realize that time away from social media and making sure it's a decently positive part of your day is probably worth your time. Because going to the next couple of years, we're probably going to get, that's how we all, take in news now. Pretty soon we're going to be taking in news in 15 seconds here soon, right?
TikTok.
Is
where I get all my news.
Is CNN going to make a TikTok?
I'm pretty sure they do, and they just dance on TikTok, and that's your news. That's
Yeah.
your news. Champ Bailey. That's your news for today.
MSNBC's 15-second dance.
Very cool. Lance.
For me personally, one of the beautiful parts of this whole mess is that my wife's soccer games were canceled. Okay, this sounds terrible.
Does.
But that's what she loved to do, was to play soccer with her friends. She'd go, and she'd get together with her friends. They play soccer. She literally would play 3 or 4 times a week. Without any of that happening, she ended up wanting to ride with me instead.
Which is fantastic.
So I've been able to – my wife wants to ride bikes almost every day, which is just fantastic. That's cool. So she can – jump on my wheel and we can go.
She even sounds excited about it.
Yes.
Which is weird.
A little bit.
I don't know why she'd be excited to ride
faster
with
than
you.
I am, isn't she? I can't get it. Dang it.
Dang
it, Lance.
Just draft offer.
Just got to sit in the draft and you're all good. So that's been a really cool thing, how if you haven't been personally touched by somebody who's actually contracted the virus, I think it has brought some families closer together. And I think that's a good thing for all of us. So
tons more family time.
Yeah, tons more family time, which is a blessing and a curse. In my case, out on the road with my wife, it's been a blessing.
Yeah.
So that's a positive thing.
So you made a comment to me over the weekend about something Brandy said with respect to cycling and soccer.
Oh, yeah.
What was that comment?
She goes, maybe I won't go back to playing soccer.
Wow.
I like cycling more.
She even mentioned that to me.
Did she really?
She did on Friday. Yeah. Yep.
That's right, baby.
Yep.
Dude.
We're starting to take
she
over.
has said that now more than once.
You know what I heard? You know what I heard her say? She's gonna start triathlon.
Oh.
I did hear that too. Actually,
I heard her say
that.
She said that.
I heard her say that she wants to distance run.
She said, "Oh, this cycling is
And
fantastic. You know, what would be a little bit better.
2 other
Triathlon.
sports.
Brandy has run a marathon before and done
she could run
quite a
all right.
few
She's got it.
triathlons.
She's really good.
Yeah.
We got her.
Very cool. I can't tell you, this is one of my things here, how many more people I am seeing out riding bikes on a daily basis.
That's on my
all day
list.
long.
Yep.
All day long.
Yeah.
Like just yesterday, I'm driving back to my house. I'm going up this little road where you hardly ever see any kids. Like you'll see kids in their front yard doing stuff, or maybe like throwing water balloons at each other on a hot day. We were driving up the road, and there must have been half dozen kids on mountain bikes, like jumping
awesome.
curbs, and like we're talking about kids that are like 10, 11 years old, and they're doing wheelies and stuff like that. I'm like, this is great. I love seeing this, and they're everywhere. But not only that, but you go ride anywhere, drive anywhere, and you see like the family, like you see the dad and the mom, or the mom, and then you got like the little ducklings on all their bikes following, and they're just they're all over the place. I can't tell you how many calls I've had here at the Dialed Cycling Lab for people looking for.
There's one right now.
There's one.
Seriously.
Hey, can I get a bike? No, but parents looking for bikes for their kids, and
I even got friends of mine jumping on bikes now too.
Unfortunately, a lot of the bike companies are sold out of their kids' bikes.
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts.
Wow.
Like Cannondale, they don't have any kids' bikes in it, like 20 or 24-inch bikes that are going to be available until like late June, early July, which is kind of a bummer for people that are selling bikes, but it's a good problem to have because people are out there looking for bikes, and I love seeing them on there. I really think that we need to capitalize on this generation of kids that are getting on their bikes and somehow get them kind of pulled into the
Racing,
sport to see all the different things that they can find in the cycling world. So
Yeah.
I'm super stoked on that, and it's been neat to see more people out riding bikes and asking questions and wanting to do more riding.
Lots of people out riding.
Especially if they're starting earlier, we get less dangerous triathletes in middle age on bicycles then, because at least they started earlier. So there we go. That's a
help.
positive.
help.
less people crashing in arrow position.
There you go.
All right, I got one for you.
Go for it.
People seem to care less about your hairstyle right now, or your mustache style.
That's true.
Everything is
Or
fair game.
just how your
Everything's fair
face
game.
looks in general.
People are like, "Hey, that guy's got a mustache. It's quarantine. No one cares." It's like,
right.
look at this guy's stash.
That guy looks like he just chopped off half his hair accidentally. You know, it's okay. He probably was trying.
Yeah, I mean, meetings and stuff like that, you can shave or whatever. It doesn't matter. No one cares.
No.
Everyone's kind of in the same game.
That's
so.
true.
I ride my bicycle or run on the treadmill during our company meetings now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody seems to mind.
Actually, good use of your time.
So I try to be efficient.
I know, right?
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of sit-down meetings.
No.
Evan, what do you got? You got another one?
Actually, we just hit a lot of the big bicycling one was mine. My one right now is so, and this is just from personal experience. I know Lance, you were mentioned that you're gonna do personal ones too, and it's like us just to talk about ourselves on this show. But this is
What the whole show's about.
I know it's
my
basically just
show.
talking about ourselves. It's basically the talk about Lance hour. But I think a lot of us have really grabbed our motivation for years from times, races. Bike racing is, I'm racing this guy, I'm racing that guy, I'm trying to get catted up. Triathlon, it's let's talk about numbers until we're blue in the face and talk about race day stuff and all this stress that goes around racing. I think it's cool that now we're just, if you are somebody who's that hyper competitive person, you are just gaining fitness for the sake of wanting to be faster and better.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool to have to tap back into that. Because I mean, we get all this external gratification for that all the time, whether it's, new 5K PR, new half Ironman PR. You raced 14 times this week and Lance was on the podium 12 of those times.
Yeah.
Like, it is nice to, and this is why I do like Strava right now, is we have these measurements now where you just get to build fitness and really work on yourself as an athlete and realize like why you want to be competitive in a sport, or if you even want to be competitive. Because in my opinion, if you don't want to build fitness during this year period, maybe the competitive part of the sport's not for you, and you just need to reassess and be like, hey, in the future, I'm just going to go on awesome rides, or I'm just going to maybe ultra marathon run where I can just trail run and do this stuff.
You don't have to. Yeah, it's like that whole bit where it's like, I like to go ride because I like riding.
Because I just like riding.
I like to go swim in lakes because it's pretty fun to swim in lakes.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think those of us that have been competitive, it's very hard to let go of that. I mean, I swam yesterday. I was trying to swim hard.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Is there any reason for me to try to swim hard yesterday? There's zero.
Not right now.
There's an innate reason.
There's no
There's a
races
deep
coming
reason.
up.
Yeah.
There's no races coming up. There's no. I mean, I probably won't get back into the pool for a long time. Like, there's nothing. Like, any fitness gains will be lost immediately. It's just worthless.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to go a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And I was
But that's kind of nice, isn't it? Like, it's just this weird thing where it's like, we're like realizing that maybe the competitive nature has nothing to do with the times. It's actually just innately in you just to want to be, want to go faster and hurt. Yeah.
I think some of it's just, we've done it for a long time.
Yeah.
And
habit based.
Yeah. I don't know.
After Matt's beat himself up for 10x400 since he was 12, it's like
like good.
hard habit to
break.
break.
What do you do? We go hurt ourselves on the track. It's
yeah.
I feel like biking has got a little bit more of that. Like, let's just go to some cool rides and get some. I don't know. I like to think that. Of course, you guys hammered each other, quite a bit on Saturday when you guys were out for 70 plus miles or however long you guys went.
Yeah, it was 70, 75.
Yeah.
We did, and we hammered each other the day before chasing all those KOMs. But again, it's kind of the same thing for me. Without races on the schedule, the training plan and the workouts that I had set to do have kind of stepped back because
you were in that 365-day training plan.
Right.
And now it's like, what, 385?
Yeah.
It's a 500-day training plan.
He had to take one of those workouts and bump it back to day
bump that.
375.
Well, if I don't, I've been like not skipping the workouts, but not taking them too seriously because there was no real point in me taking it too seriously. Other than I'm just trying to spend time on the bike and spend time outdoors and spend time with the people I love. And so
Do you find that you're kind of like still like, because for me, like usually it's Monday off, and then there's certain days during the week where it's zone 2. There's days where it's short intervals and long intervals. There's days that are supposed to be like group rides where you attack. Do you find that you're still kind of staying in the ballpark of what you would normally do on that day, but just not following anything to a T? And it's because of like repetition and just that's the way that you've learned to ride for so long?
a little bit.
Yeah.
But this last week, when the weather was nice, I threw it all out. I just rode fun every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna go out. I got on my bike and rode 50 miles almost every day, just because
It's fun.
What else am I
Beautiful.
gonna do?
And it's
Why
beautiful
not?
out.
Right, and it was beautiful out, so I
Yeah.
would just go ride for 3 hours, So
You're basically just an amateur retared professional cyclist.
exactly,
Yeah.
professional, amateur, master cyclist.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. Within a 400-day training plan for cyclocross nationals.
That's
Yeah.
right.
All right, who's next?
I think it's me.
I think it was Lance. Yeah.
This is also another very personal one that was a blessing from this entire thing. My injury did not matter.
No,
Your
it actually probably worked out well in the end. Yeah.
It did not matter. I was so bummed when I got injured because of what I was looking at missing, and the things it didn't matter. It just made me reassess the whole thing, of what we're doing and why we're spending time on bikes and why we're having fun.
any pain at all? Like you noticed anything at all at this point?
No, because it's been a
while,
It was February, the end of February.
What was that? Yeah.
And I lost a
Those
whole
training camps.
month
Right.
of riding. I didn't really ride for a whole month. My fitness is getting back.
But I think it's important that you don't have any sort of like, this is the rest of my
Residual
life.
issues,
I'm
yeah.
going to have this pain.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I can walk pain-free now, and
problem.
it's not.
If someone was like, we're going to go for a hike, long hike,
Well, I got invited to go climb Mount Shasta this morning, actually,
that might be fun.
which could be kind of fun. But I thought, is that
How's the hip?
something I should really do with this hip? I don't know. So
I don't know. If it's just bone, I feel like should be fine, right?
it probably should be okay, but I don't know.
You only find out when you get halfway through into the hike.
Right. It's a cramp on an ice axe type climb to get to the top of Shasta right now, and I'm not sure if I want to do that. But maybe I will. I don't
cut
know.
into your biking. You don't want to do that.
That's right. So
Gotcha. I want another one for me. I'm finding that people are going out and riding and exploring a lot of new places that they probably wouldn't have gone out and explored otherwise because they've got time on their hands, because they are not slaves to a training program, and they're just wanting to do something different, and they're wanting to kind of get away from civilization a little bit. So they're going out and they're trying different things and going new places. I mean, even myself, there's probably stuff that I've gone out and done or like just wanted to go out and explore. It's like something Matt and I used to do on our rides all the time. You and I did it on gravel bikes a couple weeks ago until we got kicked out of the forest. But, just looking for new stuff. And what's cool about that is it's not only fun for me, but I get to see people go out and doing these things. I'm like, hey, I didn't even know that was a place or a thing or a route or a place that you could ride your bike. You just did that. Well, guess what? I'm going to go check that out new and now as well. Other people are going to see that, and all of a sudden we're going to have new routes built into our program. Like Evan, you just did new stuff this past weekend.
I mean, I'm literally a triathlete that's going out there and like truly enjoying finding random gravel roads and dangerous descents all the time now. Like, I mean, I would have, if you would have told me that 5 years ago, I would have been like, nope, not part of the training plan, not going to do it. But you go out on these 5-6 hour rides, and they're just things you remember for months because they're so awesome, especially in this region. We just got. There's just like before the podcast when me and Lance were like, there's so many gravel roads out there you just wouldn't even think to find.
yes,
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
And now that the woods are open again, we can go and find them.
Oh, Matt, what you got?
More people are spending time watching YouTube.
I'm curious.
That's a
What's
good
your subscriptions up to now? I meant to check that.
Hold on. Actually,
Did you
know
crack
what?
2,000? I think you
I'm
did.
like right now. I don't know. It was. I think I was like 5 under or something. It was really close to
yeah.
breaking. Let me
So
check right now.
I still
See if
watch a fair amount of YouTube. I've cycled off a little bit just because I'm not on the trainer as much, but I still
I'm
watch a
watching
fair
lot
amount.
of YouTube. How close?
Where are you at here?
At the top.
Very
It's
top.
really small.
1,999 subscribers.
Who's going to be number 2K? If you are listening to this right now and you have not subscribed to Matt LeGrand, 1, go follow the pop star. 2, go follow Matt.
The other Matt LeGrand.
The other Matt LeGrand.
If you haven't subscribed yet, you need to follow him. He's important.
Yeah. Make sure you follow both.
Are you subscribed to the other Matt LeGrand? Do you follow him?
I don't think so.
You should say, hey, I'll follow you if you follow me back.
I follow him.
Yeah. He's important.
He is
funny. So maybe during the podcast, I'll crack the 2,000 barrier.
Sweet.
Yep.
So how are things going?
minutes.
Are your numbers looking up? Because you would think like more people are kind of at home and they're probably digging around on the YouTubes and watching
Just
stuff.
watching
but
Matt LeGrand
I
videos.
thought
they're also not doing as much triathlon
Right,
stuff.
That's true.
So
I think it's so it's been a wash for me as far as the channel traffic goes. But it's random. Like it all depends on what videos people want to search for, because I don't have that big of a following that people are gonna, I'm not gonna have a whole bunch of people, check out every video that I post. But if I post something that people are searching for, that's when you'll see people kind of like hop on and watch stuff. So, for example, the Wahoo Element Bolt, I don't know why people seem to want to watch that video. And the other video I did recently was that triathlon stories, which Lance kind of shared, right? Or whatever. So I mentioned you in this last video.
Yeah, I watched it. I got a shout out at the end.
You got a clear shout out at the end. But it's a funny video. There's tons of hilarious stories. No one really cared about watching that. I've got maybe like somewhere around like 500 views or something.
See, and that's
almost 650 views.
And that's like
650.
Between the two videos, like I love the triathlon one, and the Wahoo Bowl one's just funny because it's you. But like, I mean, if I saw like anybody else say like Wahoo Bowl, I'd be like, yep, pass.
Yeah,
it's just not even something I click on.
It's talking about a device, and people are searching for this device, and that's
So my most favorite videos usually are probably like the least viewed ones.
Yeah, they are actually. There's a lot of them that are like these, but the people that like
the
people
swim
that
shave
follow
test
me,
is still one of my favorites.
Yes,
that's by far
shave
one
my
of my
beard and
favorites.
see if it's faster. So anyway, I would say that views are not up on my particular channel, but I think more people are watching YouTube, and I think more people are interested in making YouTube content, which I think is really cool. It's something that I've always encouraged people to do, like grab a GoPro, make something, like post it, because I'll watch it. Like I think it's fun to have more material to watch when you're on the trainer or whatever it is.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, people make videos. Do it.
I've gotten into watching ramp tests on YouTube just because it's funny. I don't
people
know why
suffer.
to me. Oh my gosh, no, it's just great. Like the funniest ones are like husband versus wife ramp test, or when Vegan Cyclist did his ramp test versus somebody. I forget what he did, or he may have just done it on his own. But these are like when you get super bored on YouTube, and I've watched every spring classic between the years like 1989 to 2016. I'm running out of spring classics.
Yeah.
But those are what we turn to then at that point.
Vegan Cyclist, did you see his video from yesterday that he posted?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
He did a 10-minute climb where he raced his wife on a e-bike.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
And him going full out on
full gas
on his own.
Don't ruin it for me because I'm going to watch that when I get home.
plug yours. I want to know.
Yeah.
It's pretty good because he pushed almost 400 watts for the 10-minute climb. And
that's a lot of watts.
And they put power pedals on so they could measure what kind of watts she was actually pushing. She averaged 34 watts.
And won.
Nice.
Did she win?
She won by a minute.
Oh my god!
Oh wow!
On this new e-bike that was, and she was like looking at the flowers and smiling, and he is like,
and he's like in the darkest place he's
oh
been in
yeah,
10 minutes.
he was like going full out. It was I thought
That is awesome.
He
makes great videos.
He does make great videos. I like his
cool guy.
content.
Yeah.
he had a follow drone.
What's his actual name?
Yeah.
It's
I've
Tyler
heard a couple
Pierce.
times. Thank you. Yeah,
Tyler
I've heard
Pierce.
a couple times.
Yeah.
Vegan.
He
Yeah,
uses
first name
this,
vegan.
he uses this drone called a Skydio drone. I think the Skydio 2. And it does a really good job of tracking you, and like you can go ride in the woods.
Yeah, and it
will
avoids
follow
the
you.
trees. And it
really?
It ducks down and goes
not-
around.
Has
most
Eric
people-
been using that?
No.
Luxury? Okay, no.
I think Eric uses
Another guy who makes great YouTube content.
Yeah.
God, I love his stuff lately.
Yeah, he posts.
Yeah.
He uses a drone called the DJI Mavic Pro 2, same as Jake.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go check out both those channels. They're worth watching if you're looking for
they are.
YouTube channels.
Do you know who else is going to have some really cool content here coming up? Phil Guyman is going for this should have been part of the lead-out news. Phil Guyman's going for the Everest record.
Right now, as we speak.
On
right now. Monday. So we'll know.
Who holds the record? Is it Richie Port?
I don't know who holds it.
I think it was Richie Port. I remember we talked about that.
Yeah.
But he's roughly trying to do it in 8 hours.
Oh.
He's trying to do it. Most people take 14, 15, 17 hours to climb 29,000 feet. He's going to try to do it in 8 hours.
Sam Long did it a few days ago and did it in 10 hours. He did it in 10 hours almost on the dot, I think. So
Guyman's going to try to do it in
So here's
8.
another thing. Would we even care, or would this even happen if there wasn't the whole COVID quarantine thing?
It wouldn't, and this is cool stuff.
Yeah.
No, I think it's awesome. I mean, that is 29,000 feet of climbing. That is a lot of climbing.
Yeah. We wouldn't care about that. We wouldn't care about vegan cyclist racing his wife on an e-bike. We wouldn't care about It's not that many people care to watch the Zwift e-racing kind of stuff, but that wouldn't be a thing as much as it is. So it's kind of like setting the table for some other stuff that you can do on a bike,
right?
Which is kind of neat. So just
trying to find who holds the record. Hold on.
I want to say it's Richie Port.
Yeah, in August 2019, Richie Port and Cameron Worth Everested taking 14 hours and 22 minutes.
No,
that can't be the record. No.
He's going for 8.
No, it was not.
I just
them.
saw it on.
I know
Phil's
they
Instagram
gave
this
it an
morning.
attempt, so that's why I thought it was them. But no, I'm sure whoever holds it went crazy fast. But Phil will talk about it. I have a feeling Phil will take it. Whatever Phil seems to give an attempt to, he gets. So
if it's climbing related, he can.
It is.
He's the best in the world.
He's not getting Mount Lemmon back.
Self-proclaimed.
He's not going to.
Yes,
self-proclaimed best in the world.
Evan, was it your turn? I'm not doing a good job of keeping track of it.
Neither am I.
I got one that's
second.
related to YouTube as we're talking about this. My wrenching skills have improved quite a bit through this because I've been working on my bikes more and looking up more YouTube things to learn how to do certain things.
What are you working on? What are you doing to your bike?
Okay, so this week, this is kind of an interesting story. I swapped out the crank arms on my gravel bike because I wanted a different kind of power meter on my gravel bike. So I took out the old
Praxis stuff.
Yeah, the old Praxis crank arms and the old bottom bracket, and had to replace the bottom bracket with a different bottom bracket and put in a new thing. So removing bottom brackets, installing bottom brackets, it's a little bit tricky stuff.
Yeah.
But threaded or press?
They're press.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that takes a special tool. I wouldn't even remember how to use that tool.
Yeah, well, I've done it a couple of times or watched Jake do it enough times that I figured, okay, I can make this work. In the last couple of bottom brackets, I've actually installed myself with Jake looking over my shoulder, which really helped. But but this time, I got the new bottom bracket and I installed it beautifully, perfect. It went in nice and smooth. I'm super happy about that. And I put it in backwards.
So you put it in backwards?
It's a GXP, so like on the non-drive side, it's a little bit smaller of a diameter. And he went to go put the crank in, and the smaller diameter side was on the drive side, and it's like, wait a second, that's not fitting.
I'm like, gosh dang it. I just made a special trip to pick up this bottom bracket.
That's
I
hilarious.
just put Loctite on it so that it would not creak.
No.
And I'm thinking, and they take special tools to get bottom brackets out.
Yes.
Which I didn't have.
So that's what's great about having a friend over here.
Yes, but I'm in my
He'd
garage.
already borrowed tools.
I'd already borrowed tools and taken it back to my garage. I wasn't here at the lab.
Yeah.
And so I had to figure out a way to get the brand new bottom bracket out without ruining it.
Now, Lance, if you want to practice more. So
Practice.
on this ride I did Saturday, I'm putting out so many massive watts just like you do. This is a lie. I do not put out massive watts. But my Crux's bottom bracket is just creaking back and forth. But it would be a good practice for you. I think it's threaded. I'm pretty sure it's threaded.
It just needs to be taken out.
If you just want to, just want to grease it up. Yeah, no, I mean, if you just want to give that a shot, I would, I'd be fine with you doing that for me.
I've dealt with lots of creaking bottom brackets in my days, and so I know some tricks to
my old
tackle
Olay. I think
them.
I went through like 8 bottom brackets because I only had 9 speed on that thing, so it was just nothing was above 60 cadence going uphill.
So I was pretty proud that I was able to get the bottom bracket. I was able to get it out without ruining it.
That's good.
Where I could swap it around and put it back in properly, and now it's like butter smooth and feels good. But
that's
cool.
Nice.
So yeah, so I've I've taken more risks than I would have because being like trapped at home, even though I have Jake to help me. But this one,
it's still nice to have like Jake's tools, or potentially a hardware store or somewhere that you can go. Like I made my own little press fit piece, right? Because you can make that, but but you need a hardware store. You need some of these places that you can go. You're not just going to have that stuff in your garage,
right?
Unless you have it in your garage already because you bought the tool.
So I just found out that Cassie actually has a cassette tool. I didn't even know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was another good thing.
That's good to have.
Yeah. That was the other thing is I feel like since we don't do races, I realize now how much races just took up your spring and summer. It was like no house projects ever got done because it was like, all right, what are we doing this weekend? Tapering for next weekend. So let's make sure that we don't stay on our feet too much.
Right.
So I've been having to move a lot of my stuff lately, and we went through the garage and just found cycling tools and stuff I didn't even know we had. It's like, this is very helpful. wish I would know. I'm waiting to find the press fit thing for the bottom rack just laying around somewhere. Maybe we accidentally bought it once. That'd be great.
That'd be great. Yeah. Anyway, so I learned more wrenching stuff.
That's good, Lance. Proud of you, buddy.
But seriously, with that bottom bracket, please help.
Please help.
So it's looking like this is going to be a gap year, right? I don't think seeing and hearing all this stuff behind the scenes, I don't think there's going to be any racing here.
No.
At all.
Doesn't look good.
It is not look good.
Yep. I don't think from triathlon to cycling to even running, I don't think there's going to be racing.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be a cyclocross season, and that's a bummer, and I'm sure we'll figure out ways to fill that void or scratch that itch. But having that gap year, I'm kind of learning again how to reacclimate myself into enjoying riding on my bike and not having to have an agenda for everything.
Yeah.
I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I was really wanting to get back to racing again this year. But at the same time, I was still kind of nervous because my shoulder being what it is. And that's another thing is I'm going to have surgery. So not having races to worry about.
That's a positive part of that. Yeah. Outside of the fact the surgery's rough, but
it gives, I got the Chris Froome complex thing going on where, he had a really bad accident. He wasn't able to race last year and he's still trying to come back, and this bit of extra time is going to bode in his favor.
He's killing it on Zwift.
I'm hoping the same thing happens for me. I'm hoping that this procedure that I have is time consuming in terms of the rehab process. And I'm hoping that it's not going to be as drawn out as the last go around with it was god awful terrible. I'm hoping that it allows me to kind of get back to my way, because there's a lot of parts of me that aren't me because I'm so hamstrung by this. I mean, that's definitely my Achilles heel of my shoulder, if you will, that's holding me back. This gap year, for me personally, I'm kind of happy about that I don't have to have the pressures of going out to race. I'm not a very anxious person, but when you're not able to perform at a level that you know that you should be performing at, that kind of changes your whole mindset of how you're going to go out and attack a race. And basically this whole year, I was just going to say, all right, I'm going to do everything I can to show up to races and help and participate and all that other stuff. And I'm just going to go out and I'm going to support teammates. I'm not going to have any self-driven agendas of I want to win this race and that race and that race. But even that, taking that pressure off, still there's pressure there because I don't know if I'm going to be able to even be that person. I want to be a good lieutenant for the people that are racing. But anyway, I guess the net of it is this gap year is, I think it's a good thing for me because it just takes that pressure off, so I can kind of go through things in a timely manner and kind of work up towards training camp next year. And then 2021, hopefully we won't be dealing with a bunch of chaos and I can go out and actually be competitive. So.
Well, and I mean, there's still these awesome, I think, moments when as a team we'll be able to be competitive from. I know Guy Van was trying to organize for, typically in July we go out to Windy Ridge for that ride. We've done it 2 years in a row now, right?
Yeah.
3 years? 2 years. 3 years. Something like that. But anyway, rides like that now get to become go out there with A Fitness and attack the heck out of it if you want. It's not this thing where you go and it's oh, well.
There's a race.
Got a race next weekend.
I got a race on Tuesday evening,
exactly,
so I don't want to go too hard.
PIR coming up. Got to save the legs.
Yeah.
So I think that's the cool part of it.
It's there's a
choose those
pressure
rides
off.
you want to.
There's a little bit of pressure off.
Well, and you just get to there's something relieving about just getting to point at an awesome ride on your calendar and be like, cool, we'll just go and do it. You don't have to squeeze it around race season or anything.
I was dreading racing triathlon this year I was
just nervous
dreading
about it.
because it was just like I knew that my fitness is not what it was 2 years ago, which is fine, and it was just like I should do these races because this is where my friends are and this is what we do.
Yeah.
But so Jake, I feel very similar. Where
Yeah.
it's just like, kind of thankful that I don't have to, and I can, take the time that I need to get healthy and do all the stuff that I need to do and be ready for training camp, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like
I think
get ready for training camp.
I think for all three of you, this was somewhat strangely nicely placed for all three, because I mean, Matt's been dealing with his Achilles issues. It's just been killing him, and I think this is nice for you to have that year where you just get to try to get back to running in a positive mindset and not in a mindset of like, oh, I want to get back to this race. I want to get back to this race.
This race in 2 weeks.
And same way for Jake with his shoulder, and Lance, thank God you didn't, not waste the best finish you've ever had in your life, but at least you're not missing these spring road races where you could be out there in the finish you were prior to training camp.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my question. Should I try and set up my own Ironman and race it just for the sake of racing it?
I don't think
because I may never come back to this fitness again in my life.
You have a lot of dumb ideas.
I'm mostly dumb ideas. You could argue it's mostly dumb ideas.
99 out of 100. But this one,
I'd say all 100.
I would say here's my argument on this one.
Okay.
I think one of the things about that particular idea is the distance. I think is going to be challenging for you. I think that it's going to be very hard for you to go out and, especially in a race situation, and hold the watts that you should hold.
Yeah.
And not get drawn into the competition part, because all of us do that, where we're like, that guy passed me, not going to let that happen.
Right. So you go a little bit harder.
In an Ironman,
absolutely.
You can't do that, or you just die, or you don't do it and you still die.
Yeah.
Because the distance is just so long.
Because it's still a super long
right.
day.
I mean, people that are strong the last 10K of a marathon and an Ironman, like those people, I don't know who they are. They are very
Patrick
far.
Lange, and that's it.
Right, they're very far and few between. But I think had you, if you go do this, first of all, you have the experience.
Yeah.
Of saying like, hey, I was, I know how it is. I know I need to chill out because it's a long day.
Yeah.
Second, you have the confidence of like, I can do this distance.
That's kind of what I want. Yeah.
And then thirdly, I think that it's a heck of a training, effect.
Be a pretty good training day. Yeah.
And you can do it. You have that ability because you're really
and I get
fit.
to choose my course, which
you get to choose your course.
Yeah.
And it's, again, you can kind of, have a better idea of like, hey, these goals are more realistic. I've gone, let's say you could go 9:30 or 9:40. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But let's say you go 9:30 and you're like, okay, that was me on my own, whatever. In a race situation, I know a more realistic goal is whatever, 9 flat. I have no idea what your time should be. But like you can get a better idea of your times, and it could set you up for a better race in the future. But on the flip side, you could hurt yourself. You could, there's plenty of negatives to an event that hard.
Yeah.
So.
Or you find that it's incredibly difficult to finish the marathon, and then you lose confidence.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I would luckily have like a full year to build that confidence back up, though.
Yeah.
So that's
And there's you've done these things, so you know that being with a crowd, having all this stuff,
way more motivation.
It
having
helps
people
pull you
on,
in to finish.
Yeah,
for sure.
People passing you trying to pass people, spectators.
And there's a lot of support. There's a ton
all
of
that
support all the way through. So I think it's something to think about. I don't know. You don't want to do it right now, but
no, it would probably be August.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could videotape it.
I have my route plan that I want to do. I want to do it at Vancouver Lake.
It'll be flat.
Yeah.
That's a great place to do it. The
I've
problem
got
is
the loop. Yeah.
Well, so you
the loop, it'd be out and back, out and back, out and back.
That's a tough thing to be like. I just came.
Yeah.
I'm done mentally. I have checked out, and I am absolutely
I have 3
done.
more laps
I
of
do
this.
not want to do this anymore. I just came past my car.
Right.
I could easily just
stop.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching.
Except for me, I'll be filming.
Yeah.
I could just have you stand next to my car.
I'm gonna have
with a taser.
I'm gonna have a camera just called the car cam. Like he gave up. This is the give up camera. I'm gonna see it.
You
in
can
your
even
face.
put a sign above it, be like "Give up camera." You have to slap the "Give up" sign before you're allowed.
I mean, you've been in this situation before where you've been at the tail end of the run of a race and been in such a deep hole that if it wasn't a race and your vehicle was there, you would have just gone like, done.
Yeah.
I'm done right now because this is dumb.
I raced age group nationals one year, the sprint race the day after the Olympic, through a stress fracture. And trust me, if my car had been at mile 1 of that, would have gotten in the car. There'd be no way I was going to run 2 miles through a stress fracture. So, but yeah, I think for me it would just be, and this is what the reason I bring it up, because I think a positive of this is, if people still have these massive life race goals, it's kind of an interesting thing to say, like, could I just do this by myself without without the people there, without the support?
Right.
Could I do this just for myself? In that
The
sense
answer
of
is
like,
yes.
Yeah.
You can.
Do people want to?
Do you want to?
That's a question to ask. It is. I know that I want, like, I know it sounds weird. I almost get more excited about that. I got super nervous about races last year.
Yeah.
Racing was stressful for me last year.
Sure.
Dude, jumping in the water against people that are significantly faster than you and knowing that all day you're going to get your butt kicked and you could be racing as fast as you ever have in your life sucked. Like, that's not fun. So to me, planning this is actually more exciting than, like, saying, all right, I'm going to go and try to stand with Josh Amberger for 3.5 seconds on the swim and they get kicked in the face. Like, that's not fun.
But if something like this is what's motivating for you for the next couple months, then that's a good thing.
I could ride my bike in circles for hours and be fine. Like, that's not hard for me. But, like, what would be hard for me is saying the next race is not for another 1.5 years.
Right.
That's tough.
So are you actually going to do this?
Yeah.
When?
August is the plan. I still know when. I need to look at weekends. And it's going to be a flexible day because I want to make sure that it's good. Like, I don't want to be going out there in 20-mile-an-hour headwinds.
Now, is it going to be just you, or are you going to invite other people that want to come out and give it a go too?
I think I want to
You're not going to do it together, but
yeah, I think I want to leave it open to dialed for anybody who wants to do any part of that, day, whether they want to do a sprint triathlon day, Olympic triathlon.
Maybe they want to run a marathon. They might.
Yeah, I want to use the poles at Vancouver Lake because it keeps it very like, anybody can go out there and you can watch your person, and we're not sending people out to some buoy out in the middle and having them come back. You stay pretty safe, which is right next to shore. You know how many laps you've done, and the course, everybody's done Vancouver. Everybody's gone out, done the TTs there. Everybody knows that course.
So and you're just going to do laps on the
laps.
Bike there. Okay.
Yep.
Not going to go out and do like the rack route right around Clark County. No,
I'm going to do the rack route, but I'm going to go out with Tonkin Guyvan and we're going to try and go hard.
Are you going to hit that one pass?
Yeah,
we're the route.
Yeah, and but that's going to be road bikes, not TT bike.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that will be interesting.
So that's the plan.
We will cheer you on.
It'll be fun.
I'll throw things at you.
Tackle you a little bit.
I'll just need somebody with a hose at some point. Just anybody wants to bring down a hose, like a power washer. Jake's got his portable power washer.
If you're doing it all on Vancouver, like, you're maximum getting like 13 miles or so. So you're talking about 10 loops or something. I mean, it's a lot.
The run, I actually like that run because it's a pretty uninterrupted run.
Yeah,
it'll be exposed to the heat all day, which is fine. But
in August, it'll be probably freezing in August.
Yeah.
Nope.
I'm trying to choose a 52-degree day. I'm going to wait for that one day in August. Yeah.
Just keep waiting.
Just take off work on a Tuesday.
Exciting. Anything else, guys?
The only other thing that I would say about all this is us sitting at this table, we're very fortunate because our lives and livelihood don't completely revolve around these races or something that has been seriously affected by the economy crashing like it has and things shutting down. None of us own restaurants. None of us own hotels, at least not big chunks of hotels. And so we're fortunate, and we realize that these lemonade things we're making out of this whole mess is how it affects the four of us. Right. And not so much people who have been seriously affected by knowing somebody who has actually got the virus and
passed away. I mean, it's
passed
pretty,
away, or have their businesses on the verge of closing. None of our businesses are on the verge of closing. Right. No. So we're fortunate in that way.
Amen. Well put.
We are. Yep. Hopefully some of those small things are what, when times get this hard, I think especially at least in the endurance world, you usually reach out to your sport, whether that's running, cycling, anything like that. So I hope people keep on doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that was fun.
Good.
Yeah, let's jump into one last thing. Who wants to go first? Evan. You looked away first, so you get to go first.
Yeah. we all looked away.
So we are starting to do some small open water groups these days. And by groups, I mean it's like 3, 4, 5 people getting together. The spots that we've been doing them are like I'm glad maybe Fallen Leaf is a spot that some people who live out towards there can start meeting, but we've been doing Vancouver Lake just because it's closest to, Vancouver Lake's like a 5-minute
water
drive.
been okay? I heard that was questionable.
It's so and this is, I know, this is person to person dependent. Sure. Everybody who I know who has been swimming there has been fine. Yeah, I haven't heard anything bad. And I mean, like every year, like me and Matt always talk about, every year there's always, depending on the lake, there's going to be reports of bad bacteria, yada, stuff like that.
Are you seeing a fair number of swimmers there?
A lot of swimmers. Yeah,
good.
Actually,
that's good news, I think.
Who was out there? I think Eric and Paula were both out there one day.
Oh, really?
Trevor and Heather were out there too.
What? No, they're not. Those guys are in Canada and their retirement.
This was a couple weeks ago. They were, yeah. Or Heather was. I don't think Trevor was with her, but yeah.
Wow.
She was out there. And then Gwen Jorgensen was out, not swimming, but just out there running.
She was out there running or something,
Yeah. Who else?
Gold medalist.
A lot of people. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, just casually going for a run.
It's a nice place to hang out.
Yeah. Everybody who, should just go there. Just so we can continue to say, like, a Vancouver Lake, this person was there.
And we can close those roads down. We can turn it into a triathlon mecca.
Oh my gosh, yes. There's no reason to go past the rumble strips unless you're shooting guns. So, yeah. Like, really, there's nothing down there.
Exactly.
There's literally nothing down there.
That's
the gravel road trail on the way back if you're on your gravel bike.
This is true. Yeah. We can just shut it off for gravel bikers and triathletes. That's all.
Gravel bikers and triathletes.
If you want to shoot your guns, you got to strap it to your back and ride your bicycle down there.
Cool. Lance, one last thing.
One last thing for me. I had another tubeless tire victory this last week as well.
That's huge.
Yeah. Picked up another, on my road bike, big 2-inch staple and was able to stop, pull it out, let the sealant seal it, jump back on, and keep going like within 30 seconds. So that was cool. Another tubeless tire.
Tubeless tire victory.
I did have somebody reach out because I posted a video of it on Instagram, on my Instagram story. And I had somebody reach out like, hey, okay, this looks awesome. What kind of sealant do I put in my tubes so that I can do this as well? And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's not quite that simple. You have to have tubeless ready rims. You have to have tubeless tires, and you have to have a sealant that works like that. So
it's a process.
It's a process, but once you get there,
worth it.
Yeah, it's been worth it.
Yep.
That's all.
Cool. Matt, one last thing.
I posted a video this week. I already mentioned it. The triathlon. I think it's called Best Worst Triathlon Race Stories, and they're kind of funny. So
they're funny.
It's worth checking out.
It was a good video.
I think this next coming week I'm going to talk about my new favorite heart rate monitor, which is it's an optical heart rate monitor that you can wear on your arm, your forearm, or your bicep, or something like that. It's nice because you can swim with it, you can run with it, you can bike with it. It's actually a pretty nice little heart rate monitor. Cool. Wahoo makes one, but the one I like is from Polar.
Gotcha.
It's pretty nice. And
back to the video. Give us one excerpt, one story that you really liked the most.
All right. It's really hard to pick one, but
you told me a couple on the bike, and you had me laughing.
So there's this one story, and the lady's name was Janelle, I think, and she writes in, and she wrote like, I was riding in my first triathlon race, and I had a squirrel jump and dive into my bike.
Oh my gosh!
And she said that it did like this full-on paws spread out sprawl. It got caught in her gears and sawed in half. One half on one side of the bike, the other half on the other side of the bike.
Oh my gosh!
Later, she wrote me and she said, because I was like, I really want to like see your bike, or whatever, or just see a picture of your bike. And she was like, my bike was white and it was covered in blood. It
was like a buzzsaw just went through that squirrel.
The squirrel caused her to crash.
Oh my god!
So there's probably some of her blood and squirrel blood mixed.
Oh my gosh.
But my favorite part is she finishes off by saying, and that's how my bike got its nickname, the Honey Badger.
Because it ate the squirrel.
How do you come up with this? It was just like so perfect.
That story deserves like a movie behind it, I think.
We need a follow-up video, Matt. Reenactments.
I sent her
3D modeling, rendering.
I sent her a message and just said, thanks so much. And
R.I.P. squirrel.
I sent her some stickers from I have some stickers that are just swim, bike, run, rinse, repeat.
Swim, bike, run, kill squirrel, rinse,
kill
repeat.
squirrel. Yeah, I just kind of mix that in there. And she said, I think I put on her envelope, I wrote like squirrel killer. Who's this to? Squirrel killer. But I loved that story. I thought it was really good. That's first triathlon. Can you believe it?
That's
Crazy.
Yeah.
You hit 2K yet since we've been sitting here?
Trying to refresh. Not yet.
No.
Dang it.
It'll happen as soon as we turn the radio off, I think.
1,999.
As soon as we wrap this thing up.
Cool. All right, my one last thing. Anybody interested in some free cross training?
Yeah.
Free cross training. If anybody's sitting at this table.
I don't need any help. No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Coming over to my house, we're doing yard work. My God, that cross training is just absolutely insane.
I think about like
so
action on a bicycle,
today.
Jake. Come on.
I'm super sore from swimming. Isn't that crazy?
So
you guys you're gonna be so sore at that.
Yeah, we just have been doing a bunch of yard work for Mother's Day yesterday. That's what my wife wanted for Mother's Day, was just a bunch of yard work to get done. I'm like, all right, we can do this. And I used to always do it by myself, and I've been slowly starting to get back into it, trying to do what I can where I can. And there was a lot of stuff that needed to get caught up. Plus, we're starting some new projects. So we've been tearing out lawns, we've been redoing stuff and moving dirt around. And I'm trying
garbage cans on people.
Exactly. I'm trying to do as much of the stuff as I possibly can without hurting my shoulder, because obviously don't want to do that. So I'm compensating, doing a lot of stuff other ways. And we did yard work for like 5 or 6 hours yesterday. And today I am so sore. But that's a great cross-training workout. If you want some free cross-training, come on over to my place.
I was just worried you're going to hurt your shoulder doing all that.
I managed not to hurt myself because I was just dragging everything around with my other arm, which
is sore.
Probably going to end up hurting that one. You need surgery on that one too.
Now.
Yeah. My lats and my shoulders and biceps and everything sore. Legs, the whole shooting match. It didn't help that Lance killed me on Friday and Saturday. So
we did hurt each other a little bit.
All right. Before we wrap this thing up, just wanted to say to our Patreons, we've got stickers. The stickers have landed. They are here. And I think a few people have actually already gotten them. So we will be sending those out to all of our Patreons. If anybody's interested in becoming a Patreon, you can go check out all that information. You can go to patreon.com and just search for Dialed Podcast, or you can go to the Dialed Podcast website, and that's dialedpodcast.com. You'll see it right there on the landing page where you can click on it and go in there and get some more information. But that's just another way that you can help support the show, which we would greatly appreciate. Awesome stuff there. Really good.
Love it.
Super thankful for that. It's helping us do some other cool things.
We are very thankful for all of you. Yes.
All right. Any parting shots from you, you yahoos over here?
Thanks for having us.
Yep.
Thanks for coming in again. We will see you all next week. Bye for now.